Welcome back, motherfuckers. It is me and Paul. I am Jake. That's Paul. We're here to discuss all sorts of drama. All sorts of drama. Should we get the Julian drama out of the way, or should we wait?
I feel like that's the entertainment value of this episode.
That is.
So really for those of you who really don't know what's going on, Julian Marquez decided to take his post-fight interview with Joe Rogan and call out Miley Cyrus for a Valentine's Day date. And Miley responded pretty quickly and said, all you have to do is shave an M and a C in your chest hair. That's all you gotta do. And he's got some chest hair. He's a grown man. He decides to respond with challenging Miley to get a henna tattoo.
Quick tattoo ultimatum. Yep.
Why?
I don't know. I mean,
he had it in the bag. It was there.
Sometimes you have to fucking...
It was his for the taking. It was right there. And then Miley responds, this could be yours, but you dumb. Which he is.
Which he's very dumb. Hey, how about I don't do that? How about you get a henna tattoo? Wait, what?
Yeah, dude. Shave your chest hair. It will grow back tomorrow.
Or just literally shave the fucking MC and then shave the chest off completely and then let it grow a fresh carpet. Like, you don't need to have that forever. Make it one day, take the picture, let it be gone.
Dude, I hurt when I saw that. When I saw that, this is a man who, like, I don't even know where to start. But, yeah, it's something. I mean, this is the Mark Sanchez running into the offensive tackle of call-outs.
This is the Steelers lining up all of their linemen on the left side of the field and just the center and quarterback in the middle.
It's, man, I mean, especially for a guy that went out there and had a beautiful submission. Went out there, could have made a name for himself. He was injured. He had all sorts of, issues. But, yeah, that's up there with one of the biggest fumbles of the year. Fumble of the year for sure.
Yeah, and especially after winning UFC 258 and you go in like, I mean, does anyone really even know that you won 258? Everyone's like, Miley Cyrus, dude, did you see? Like, he ruined his win. And then, like, he legitimately ruined his win. He grabs the microphone and goes, I've been waiting for this moment to call everyone out. Miley Cyrus, will you be my Valentine? Wait, you forgot to call people out, and what are you talking about? What are you fucking talking about?
Man had it all. He had it all. He was right there. He just fumbled at the 1 yard line.
Oh, he was like the Tennessee Titans in the 99 Super Bowl. Made it to the 1 yard line and fucking couldn't get it in, lost the bowl. That's basically what happened.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, let's just get to 258 as a whole.
We should.
We said, is this worth $70? And I would price it at $40.
I would price it at $30.
Okay, that's a wiggle room.
I wouldn't even give him $40 for that. 220s for that.
Yeah, okay, I'm obviously in hindsight knowing the results of it.
Right.
You know.
Going into the fight, looking at that lineup, would you spend $40?
No.
No.
That would have been one of the, and if it was at your price point of $30, that would have been the greatest $30 I've spent in a long time.
Right. If it was $30, if it was a $29.99 pay-per-view event, because it was like, okay, obviously a lot of the big cards are out, it's obviously not going to be that great of a fight. He would be like, well, I still like UFC enough to spend $30 to watch this fight. You'd probably end up having more revenue with more people watching, and people would probably assume that they got a bang for their bucks with the last couple of fights that went on. They wouldn't really... I think people would have been happy with that, but they ended up charging $70, and no one bought it.
I mean, the back half of that pay-per-view was excellent. From Kelvin Gastelum on, that was excellent.
They didn't know that would happen. I mean, from a marketing standpoint, it's greed, in my opinion. I mean, you can't... That'd be like the Packers and the Bears are playing, and it's like, okay, tickets are $1,100, and then they both get sick, and it's like, okay, well, the Panthers and Jets are here if you guys want to... Same price for that game. Like, wait, what? We don't want to watch the Panthers and Jets. We want what?
Well, I think it's more so of not devaluing the brand of the pay-per-view, that, no matter what happens to that card, this is a pay-per-view event, and they just can't devalue that. And I think there really is an allergy to it. But, going forward, we have Kamaru right at the top of the card.
Right.
And I am on the train. I'm conducting the train. I'm charging tickets for the train. I am charging tickets to get on the train. Like, right now, if you're now a fan of Kamaru, you owe me tickets. Like, this is, we said the line was big, and obviously we went over and said Burns by knockout's really the only prop that we can do at this time, just because the odds were so ridiculous. Right. But man, I look at Kamaru. Kamaru is the true pronunciation, but he's in the Anderson Silva trajectory. This guy, he is, and Anderson, he came in and he had big wins, but he had that Damian Maia stinker. And that's like the Emil Meek fight, where he comes out and says that it's like 30%.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm 30% Usman. And that was a meme. Everyone's like, maybe we get 31% Usman. And not anymore, man. You can't doubt him.
Well, do you think that it's because other fighters haven't been as active during COVID, or do you think he's been just way more active during COVID than the others? Like, or maybe it's a combination, or do you think that he might have actually just gotten better over this time?
No, I'm conducting the train.
That's why I'm asking the
he's
train
always been great. He is undefeated in the UFC, and I think I said it on the last one, where it's like, until you beat this guy, that you can't.
Right.
Like, until someone goes out there and shocks the world, which Burns, in the first 15 seconds of the fight, almost did. But Kamaru, the guy is a veteran. He's savvy. He knows the game. He did exactly what he had to do to recover, and he worked the jab. And, man, that thing was a thing of beauty. It was beautiful. It's, there's a lot of ways to win fights. You can wrestle, you have Burns, right? He's a brawler, and he can submit you. But Kamaru it's the jab. He just, at some point, he found the jab and never let it go. Never let Burns get into range, and he hurt him bad.
Oh, he hurt him. Like, that's injury hurt, too. Like, not like regular hurt where you sit for a week and recover. He's like injured. I think he actually might have to see some physical therapy after that.
Maybe, I don't know. But the one thing that does remind me of is people are going to look at this like, Burns dropped him, Burns hit him hard. It's going to be the Michael Johnson and Khabib Nurmagomedov fight where we all hold on to that one moment Michael Johnson hit Khabib.
Oh, yeah.
That one moment. That was it.
The one hit.
That's our one.
He landed it! He landed it! Everyone in the back. Ah!
Yeah, and that's it. We don't say anything about Conor. We don't say anything about Gaethje. Maybe a few leg kicks from Gaethje, but no, this is the moment. I mean, Kamaru, this guy, this is the greatest welterweight ever. Like, it's him and GSP, and it's close, and it's getting closer.
Okay, do you think? Well.
Oh, are we doing this? The GSP Kamaru debate?
Yes, we are. We're going to do it real quick. Quick. I just want to hear why you think it's closing in so fast.
So it's closing in based on strength of competition. So to say, like, for example, there's the Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate, right?
Right.
LeBron is currently playing, and Jordan played 20 plus 30 years ago. Oh my God, it's 2020.
Yep, he played 30 years ago.
30 years ago. To say that LeBron James isn't better than Michael Jordan is to insinuate that the sport has gone backwards. That the sport has just fallen apart in the past 30 years, and that's not even close to true. And right. LeBron is dominating at levels. No, so that's kind of how I stand on it.
What do you think? Real quick, we'll come back to the MMA part of this, but when it comes to like LeBron, why does everyone fucking hate him so much? Like, I get the part where he like flops a little bit. He just got warned again for flopping. He really did. And there's compilation videos of he does that. But at the same time, we're all aware that like in the NHL side, Sidney Crosby used to flop all the time, and who's the first one to go every fucking year in the fantasy draft? Sidney fucking Crosby. Because everyone knows that he is one of the greatest of all time. Period. Him and Connor McDavid are gonna go down as better than Gretzky, in my opinion. Period. I don't understand why that's... Gretzky played back when you used a fucking flat-bladed stick and skates that were made out of leather. Like, you think that they're not a little faster and better at... Like, look at the stick technology by itself. It's not a piece of wood anymore. It's a piece of composite fiber that flexes. You know, so like it's same with basketball, same with MMA. Time goes on, technology gets better, athletes get faster, bigger, better. Creatine, people are working out a lot more. I mean, that's like back in the day when like McGrath used to race like dirt bikes in like the Monster Energy races. And then, like, they would drink beer on the sidelines and smoke cigarettes and fuck around. Like, the early Super Bowls was, like, a part-time job. Like, people were smoking on the sidelines and shit. You know, like, to say that they're as good as athletes today is a joke. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke.
There's an argument, and, you know, leading MMA journalist, you know, media head, Luke Thomas, he made a really good point. It's the only one that I really love. And that's that GSP is still number one because he was able to beat 3 generations of fighters.
Yeah.
He beat the generation before him, who was Matt Hughes. He beat the generation during the BJ Penns of the world, the John Fitches, all those guys. And then he beat the next generation, you know, with Bisping and all those guys. So he did 3 generations, and until Kamaru does that, you know, it's going to be 1-2.
You're right. Is there any other fighter that's done something like that? Not that I can think of.
You could say John Jones, for sure.
John Jones has fought both generations below and above.
Yep, Shogun. Destroyed Shogun when he was 23 years old. And Shogun was a Pride legend. I mean, look at this shirt right now. I'm wearing my Pride Fighting Championships shirt right here. I've got the Pride poster in the background.
Yeah, dude, you wore that shirt 2 weeks in a row now. Everyone's going to start remembering what clothes you wore.
Oh, no. No. I thought for sure I wore the Henzovic shirt last week.
You wore that one last week.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I've got like a... oh, no. Everyone's going to figure out my life. I've got a drawer of like MMA-related clothing. It's right there. And I accidentally pulled out the... I did my laundry.
Like CCM and Bauer shirts. I mean, it's pretty obvious what side of the table that we play our hand in this fucking podcast here. It's pretty obvious.
Oh, no. Oh, no. But yeah, I thought for sure I wore the Henzovic shirt. I remember looking at it, too. Shoot. But yeah, so the other thing about this card, and to go forward, I'm really interested on your take, is the Africa versus Russia debate right now in the UFC is the hottest thing ever.
The what?
So for the longest time, you had this influx of Russian talent, right?
Yep.
You had Khabib, his cousin, Islam Makhachev. Yep. You had Umar Nurmagomedov as well. You had all these guys come in. But if you look at the standings... You got a lot of guys from Africa. You got Francis Ngannou. He's fighting for the title. Izzy Adesanya. He is the title holder going for his second belt. Now you got Kamaru, who might be the best. Like, the amount of talent coming from Africa is insane.
Are they coming from certain areas of Africa, or is it all over the continent?
To my knowledge, it's all over.
Okay. I don't think people realize how big Africa is, number one. That's a fucking huge continent. Like, the map that everyone looks at, they're like, oh, there's Africa. No, it's like way bigger. Way bigger.
What's going on here?
What's going on, buddy? You okay?
Yeah. Was that me?
I don't know. I
hope
what you're
not.
talking about, to be honest with you.
Well, unstable connection. First time.
Let me just go ahead. We're just going to pause it real quick. Let me go ahead and cycle the connection. We'll be right back.
Let's do it.
Okay, we're back. We have fixed the issue, and we are now back. Thank you for being patient, and I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah, technical difficulties, you know, of course. If it's not an audio issue, what other issue could it be? But we're talking...
people understand, I hope. During the pandemic, you can't just fucking travel. Speaking of which, for people who are wondering, my Nashville shows this weekend are fucking canceled. They just got canceled today. I gotta fucking launch that out eventually. Oh, God. Not going to Washington because of the snowstorm, and I'm not going to Seattle, not going to Nashville. Have to be rescheduled. Sorry, everyone. All right, we'll have to go. I forgot my flights got canceled today. Shit. Oh well. Well, everyone.
All right, back on the tracks here.
Everyone got to hear my little minor freak out on the air here. There you go.
Back on track. But no, we were talking about the talent out of Africa.
Yeah, we were. And we were talking about how it comes from all over the continent, how people don't recognize how big of a continent it is. But is it like South Africa, or is it like northern parts, or is it just about everywhere, like you were saying?
I wish I knew a little better geographically, unfortunately. But for me, it reminds me of the Muhammad Ali days. You know, they had the Rumble in the Jungle, and they brought that fight to Africa, and that was a gigantic cultural moment, and you could potentially have 3 African champions, and the UFC's got to move.
That would be pretty sweet if they had 3 African champions. That would be.
I mean, they're
fucking
one away.
Sweet. That would be pretty fucking sweet. I'm looking at this article. Oh, this is an old article. I don't want to read this one. I'm sorry. I was just reading it. Like this article, it's from the Undefeated. It says African-born fighters are taking over the MMA, and it's in a good way. It's not in a bad way. Like it's pretty sweet. Looks like there's MMA fighters from Nigeria. Looks like there's MMA fighters from Egypt. It looks like there's MMA fighters from South Africa. They're from all over the place. All over the continent.
Oh, yeah. But the creme de la creme, the best matchup you can make, and I don't want to hear anything else, it's the Khabib-Usman matchup. I don't want to hear Khabib talk about anything else.
What do you mean?
Khabib wants 30-0.
Yeah, but why Usman? I mean, we were just talking about how Usman might not be like. I remember last week when I was like, I don't know about it, and then we were talking about how he might not even be like the king of the crop, but now you're saying you should go up against Khabib.
For Khabib, you want legacy. You want something that means, like, is he going to wait for Michael Chandler at 155? Is he already talked? I remember when Conor McGregor fought Eddie Alvarez, and we're going all the way back to UFC 205. We had 258 this past weekend. We're going to 205. And he said, will I have to fight at 170 and get a belt before I fight for a belt at 155? Because for the longest time, Khabib was the uncrowned champ.
Right.
And it took him a long time. He had to wax a few contenders. He had to go through Michael Johnson, Edson Barboza, before he got his title shot. And he was even playing, Khabib's a big 55er. He's had weight cut issues. He's had all sorts of issues at the scales. So it's not like he's a small 55er. Masvidal is a smaller guy than Khabib, for example. The BMF champ.
Yeah.
So Usman's talking about Masvidal rematch again. Well, if Khabib wants to fight, it's got to be Khabib.
It would be, well, you said if Khabib wants to fight, it's got to be Khabib, but it's got to be Usman.
Well, yeah, it's got to be Usman.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know why it's got to be Usman. If you're taking this for like on a time constraint situation where he doesn't want to wait any longer. But I think a Michael Chandler fight would be like the fucking shit. I mean, yeah, an Usman fight would be the shit too, but like a Michael Chandler fight versus Khabib would be dope. Would be fucking dope. Because I'm almost positive that Khabib would slaughter Usman. I'm almost positive of it. Like, I'm not really... That fight to me wouldn't really... But Chandler has thrown some weird shit out, and it's like, what is that? Where's that coming from? So...
I am, like, blinded that you would think Usman would not just roll over Khabib.
You think Usman would roll over Khabib?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
It's too big. We have weight classes for a reason.
I don't know about that.
Usman is an honorary Ninja Turtle. Have you seen how gigantic that man is?
Yes,
he is so big. He put out Burns with a jab. Yeah. Burns used to make 55, and he was a gigantic 55er. If Usman's going to make a career off, Chiesa was a 55er. If he's just going to destroy all these guys that used to make a weight class that he would have to cut his leg off for, Usman would never make 55. Ever.
You're saying it would be a 170 fight. It wouldn't be a 150 fight.
It would have to be 170. And Khabib would move up.
From my side of the things, I was thinking it would be a 155. I didn't think it would be a 170 fight.
No, Khabib would move up for legacy, and he would attempt the double champ.
I guess.
Because that's the funniest thing about all this. How is Khabib still the champ?
I mean, when was the last time he fought?
Yeah, so he fought Justin Gaethje, was his last fight, and that was quite a long time ago, but he's made very clear that he's retired.
Wasn't that 2019?
But he's made it very clear that he's retired, and they're just going to let him keep the belt in Dagestan. They're not going to give it to Poirier, they're not going to give it to Conor, they're not going to give it to Chandler. They're just going to let Khabib hold on to it.
Yeah, but why? Like, I don't understand that. You can't just hang on to it because you're retired with it. Like, that to me doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's got to be a marketing thing. There's something we don't know.
Yeah, because after 254, you retired.
Mm-hmm. But the thing that we did know, just to get down on this card, Kelvin Gastelum did have the performance that he needed to this past weekend, where he went out and he ran over Heinisch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, it looked like, how do I put it? It looked like a professional against like a really good college athlete. You know, like the levels of experience were so different. And I think experience is probably the best way to put all these fights. Usman, far more experience than Burns. Alexa Grasso, far more experience than Macy Barber. Kelvin Gastelum, look at his last 3 losses. He fought Izzy, Darren Till, and then Jack Hermanson. Killers, all of them. It's
killers. All of them. Fucking killers.
But yeah, I think that's it. It was an experience thing at the end of the day, and that's what the UFC does, is they put up-and-comers against guys that they think their stock might be dwindling.
Yeah, but then Vegas goes out there and they fucking bet minus 500 on somebody that makes no fucking sense, and it almost makes the UFC's picks look stupid, and it's not.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're here to do. We smash these bookies.
We're dismantling the motherfuckers. We're done. We're done with it. Hey, I want to talk about the $50,000 pay-per-view event with Barstool.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to forget about it.
No, we got to talk about it. I don't.
Oh
care.
My gosh.
I don't fucking care, Dave. I don't care, Dave. Tweet at me. Do it. Tweet at me, Dave. You're a fucking scam artist, dude. Yeah, the business fund that he's doing, great. Love it. Great. But you're a scam artist, dude. You really are. Don't come at me with, he gets on board, too. The thing that pissed me off the most was he gets on board with this Reddit Wall Street Bets things, and he's like, fuck all of you, I'm the fucking whatever, and he wants to be like the leader of the pack, and then when shit turns sour, he sells out all of his stock, and then he's like, I'm out of this game. It's like, dude, you just fucking... I don't know. Fuck him. He drives me crazy on multiple levels. I truly believe that you hit adulthood when you unfollow Barstool Sports. That's when you become an adult. That's when you leave childhood and become a man. Is when you unfollow Barstool and you start listening to real sports. That doesn't.
Like your boys right here.
I mean, come on, dude. You're really listening to Barstool and you're like, oh yeah, this is legitimate information. I'm listening to it. These guys have no fucking... The guy who's in the sports book on the NASCAR, all of them weigh at least 500 pounds. They're standing up on the chair and they're like, oh, I can't believe that he would get passed on the left. I can't believe you're fucking alive with all those goddamn calories going through your... You've got cholesterol up the ass in your fucking upper ventricles. You know,
especially in these COVID times. It
drives me fucking crazy that these guys are out here spending millions. They're getting millions of dollars to fucking. They're wrong all the fucking time. All the time they're wrong. Always wrong. Barely right. Wrong as fuck. Wrong. But then they go on TV and they go, oh, I don't know why this person would say fucking shit, and they say like obnoxious words on television, and then all the young kids are like, that's really funny, I should follow them. And it's like, dude, you guys are in your 40s and you're fucking paddling to a bunch of 14-year-olds. You need to fucking stop. There's going to be a class action lawsuit against Barstool for being a fucking racketeering scheme. It's a bullshit company. It's not real. And Dave Portnoy is literally a college dropout who barely got anywhere with his life, so he had to create himself a fake sports company. I don't care, Dave. I don't care, Dave. All right? Fuck you. That's what it comes down to. Fuck you. Sorry.
So what was the main event of that pay-per-view?
I'm sorry. What?
What was the main event of that pay-per-view?
I'm sorry. With the tweet that you sent me, or the article that you sent me.
Yeah. So we had Johnny Football, an intern.
Yeah.
Over at Barstool, and he fought Jose Canseco.
Not Johnny Football. Not Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, not Manziel.
No. Someone who took the nickname Johnny Football from Johnny Manziel, and he's like, hey, I'm with Barstool, that's fine, I'm allowed to do this. Mm-hmm. Why don't you go ahead and wear number 66 while you're at it, Mario Lemieux, you fucking cunt?
Yeah, it's amazing search engine optimization for that. But, man, so Canseco, he's how do we do this? He's made this odd career of making celebrity boxing matches. And, I remember he walked out once and his coaches are throwing baseballs into the crowd and stuff. It's so silly. And he went out there and he took a pretty good dive. Just 10 seconds in, didn't want to really be there. And
not at all.
Everyone ran away with a giant bag of money.
Mm-hmm. Fraud, scam artist.
This is why I didn't want to talk about it. These guys,
you scammed people of millions of dollars. You scammed people. You are like the fucking, what is that company that was getting made to do like blood tests with just a drip of blood in Silicon Valley?
Oh yeah, with all you could determine your pre-existing conditions and all that. Yeah,
that is what Barstool Sports is. They're on their way up. Everyone's like, they know what they're talking about. Look at this guy; he tweets funny things. And I get 5 years from now, these fucking people are going under. Like, fuck them. I don't know why people support this. It's got to be only people who are 18 years and under. There's no way that any grown adult is listening to Barstool and they're like, this guy makes a solid point here. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You're wrong. All the time.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But what I do want to talk about is Fluffy Hernandez. That is a man. That is the guy who took on Rodolfo Vieira this past week. It's a blue belt. And Rodolfo... Say that?
He's only a blue belt?
He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt.
That doesn't even make any sense.
And he strangled the black belt hunter.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Go to Vieira's Wikipedia right now and look at the amount of gold medals he has in jiu-jitsu competitions. And what's insane, and again, I gotta plug Luke Thomas here, but if you look, and especially his Twitter, but if you look, like Damian Maia, Jacare Souza, Fabricio Werdum, the big jiu-jitsu guys that joined MMA never tapped. They've never been submitted. And Rodolfo Vieira tapped to a guillotine. And he was hurt. Yes, he was hurt. But, like, one of the things about this is, like, when you're at that level, if you have any semblance of consciousness, that man, like, breathes like he gets out of guillotine chokes.
Well, okay, so Vieira, he's fought in 248, and he fought in Fight Night last year. 2 years ago now. Jesus, last year didn't happen to me, I guess. But
no, look at his jiu-jitsu record. His grappling record. Okay. He is the highest level black belt. He's your jiu-jitsu instructor's jiu-jitsu instructor.
I don't see any of that on here, dude. I can't find
Oh well, forget about it. But that guy, he's a black belt hunter. He collects belts. That's all he does. And he got beat, went out there, and just got destroyed by a guy named Fluffy.
Oh, I found his records. I found them. So he is...
It's all gold.
Oh. He has 100 fucking wins. He's got 68 by submission, 31 by decision, 1 by disqualification. Let's see, dude. Oh my God, it just goes on and on. Let me put this on screen. Here's all his records. Here we go. Ooh, look at that list.
And he gets subbed by a guillotine to a guy who's going to ask his jiu-jitsu instructor for a stripe on his blue belt. That's probably what he's going to do. He's probably going to ask for a stripe. It's like, that was a pretty cool guillotine, huh, Coach?
In the UFC, it doesn't make any sense.
But what's funny is if you look across and this, I thought this was a no. I didn't even want to talk about this fight in the last podcast. I thought Vieira would win, but the lines were so steamed, so out of it. But this is you look at guys that try to do these lock of the weeks, this is the must bet, the make your money, the easy money, the free money of the weekend. And these guys probably just burn their checking accounts betting on Vieira.
I mean, okay. How many people? We could obviously do a quick trending search on Twitter to find out how many people are screaming and losing their minds.
Well, plus 4,000 was the odds for Hernandez by submission. $100 turn into $4,000. Turn one farm into 4,000 farms.
Dude, how is Rodolfo worth such little money though? He's only worth $100,000.
Jiu-jitsu doesn't pay, I guess.
Well, he's in the UFC. They pay.
Yeah, I mean, who knows when those things get up. I mean, I'm not too worried about that guy's, MSRP.
I just don't
sticker prices.
I guess I just don't understand how he could only be worth $100,000. That to me, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Someone's got.
But man, it's like that was a real eye opener for me. Is seeing that fight, and like that is what like gets me shadow boxing in the mirror. Like that is stuff like I get hyped watching that, and just seeing giant underdogs. But it's like when these people come out and they're like acting like they're predicting the future and they have a crystal ball.
Right.
It's like we don't do that. And I've been thinking about that a lot, like what we actually do on this podcast in terms of like gambling and stuff like that.
No, when it comes down to who we think is going to win and lose, it's for our fucking bets. Like, and I hope people get that. We're not telling you where to spend your money. We're telling you where we're spending ours. And if you want to listen and go along with it, you can. But this is not financial advice.
Well, not only that, but it's also the nature of the fighting. It's coin flips, but for us, we're providing that 1%, the 51-49, and that 1%. You know, if we say 51% of the time this guy's going to win, and we just ride the line, we look at the bookie, and we see what the odds are, and they're disrespecting one guy over another, it has to be punished.
We have to punish you. We have to. We have to. We can't let you do that. We cannot let Vegas bookies do that. We can't.
Yeah, there's only one guy I'll allow to make predictions, and that's Dan Hardy. I think that guy's got spot on. As a former UFC veteran, fought Carlos Condit, would not submit against George St. Pierre. That guy can have a predictions podcast.
I don't know why I found that so funny.
He's allowed to have a predictions podcast. But no, those things, he does them for like 2 hours, and he'll break down footwork, and they're exhausting to listen to.
It's almost too much for even the UFC. Oh. Even the fighters are like, man. Remember that's almost like growing up in sports, and like your coach would like you take off the line, and your coach would be like, "Stop, come back. Your arm wasn't right." And you're like, "Fuck, I'm trying to run," and then like you don't get it at the time, but they were right. Your coaches were right, to stop you and correct your arm movement, and it's almost the same thing where this guy's pointing out very little things that make a big difference at the end of the. It does like. Very little things make the biggest difference in a fight. Any sport,
my gosh.
But especially in a fight. Where, players are looking for you to make a mistake anywhere to fucking get you. So like, it's I don't know. I respect the fuck out of those players, or the fighters. I know you go boxing and you fight and shit. Can you imagine me going in? Don't laugh like that. That's not funny. That fucking shit grin on your face. Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to be like, no, man, you'd make it in the ring. You'd be fine. That's what you're supposed to pump me up here. You're not supposed to agree with everyone.
I mean, like, how many fifth graders in a row do you think you could beat up?
Like 3. No, like 2, probably 2. If they came at me at the same time, like 2. But like one at a time, maybe 3, 4, maybe.
Yeah, I've always thought that would be a good like virtual reality video game.
Yeah.
There's like how many fifth graders you could beat up, and then like maybe have the gym teacher as the final boss.
Right, the guys throwing dodgeballs at you, smacks you in the face, minus 10 health.
Yeah, meanwhile you're grabbing the fifth grader by the ankles, swinging him around.
What kind of gym teacher is it? Is it the gym teacher that's actually in shape, or is it the one that shows up with a 64-ouncer and fucking chugs Diet Coke while yelling, "Yeah, run faster!" I'm talking about.
Oh, it's a castle system where you start low and you just keep going.
I'm talking about Miss Kellenhouse. I'm calling you out if you're listening. She's probably dead by now. She's probably dead. In 6th grade, she would like.
Oh my god.
She'd come into our fucking gym class and she weighed 3 bills or more, man. Maybe 4 bills. And she had a donut and a Diet Coke from the gas station every morning at the PDQ right up the road. And she would come in, it's first hour. No one wants to be at gym at 4:15 in the morning or 7:30 in the morning when you're supposed to be at the gym. So everyone's tired. Run faster, we're running this morning. It's like, dude, we're in 8th grade. Our image matters to us right now. I don't want to run and smell like shit for the rest of the day. It's first hour. You aren't running. You smell like shit. I don't want to smell like you. I'm trying to get in shape here. I'm not trying to turn out to be Miss Kellen. I'm not into it. Anyway, sorry for that rant. Back to you.
Yeah,
everyone's like,
tough,
hey, go see
tough gym classes.
Dude, she would downgrade you for not running fast enough. And it's like, bitch, can you run? Can you walk? What can you do? Why are you grading me? I ran 75 pacers and I didn't get to 100. And she's like, well, for your weight class, you're supposed to get to 100. For your weight class, what are we running? What are we running for your weight class?
The pacer. Oh my god.
The pacer exam is right, blah, 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 blah. It's just, boop. And then you go jog. boop.
I remember I did cartwheels for like the first two.
Man, those memories are just haunting my soul right now. I remember I had to take a shit in the middle of one of them. I'm like, I got to shit really bad. Like, I got a real bad shit. And she's like, well, if you go right now, you're going to get an F on the pacer. And I was like, but I have to shit. Like, what? Gotta shit! What do you want me to do about this? What do you want me to do about this? Like, just... Sorry, I know we're...
All right. Let's grab something firm here. Matchmaking welterweight. What do we do next for Usman? Looking down the pipe, we've got Colby Covington, Leon Edwards, Michael Chiesa, Wonderboy Thompson, Gilbert Burns, obviously. He doesn't lose too much stock. And then Jorge Masvidal.
I'm going with Burns.
You're saying the rematch?
An Usman-Burns fight would be dope.
The instant Reeves match?
Another Usman-Burns fight would be dope.
Wow, you're taking stock in that first round.
Wouldn't that be dope?
I don't know what to do with Usman right now. I think the bigger question is, what does Jorge do? Because Jorge's in the driver's seat. I know Usman's the champion, but Jorge's really in the driver's seat here.
I think he just follows Julian Marquez's lead, and he just starts hitting on women.
Yeah, in true Miami fashion. Just can't help himself.
Sorry, that was not an appropriate comment.
I remember they asked him how much he was weighing because he took a fight against Usman on short notice, and he was like, "How much? How heavy are you?" He was like, "I'm about too sexy." Jorge. But I mean, everyone remembers, The Rock put the belt on him. He's the BMF champ. He beat Nate Diaz, and that guy, he can have a match with Leon, Colby, or Usman, and it's really who Jorge wants. And the other big part of this is apparently the Ultimate Fighter season is ramping up. Where they do like the reality TV series.
Yeah. They're doing that again
on ESPN Plus.
Didn't they stop that like 5 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a few years.
Yeah, it's been maybe more than 5. It might have been more than 5 years now. Honestly, probably like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, I can't even remember some of the last coaches. I mean, I remember McGregor, Faber, but past that, I don't think I remember.
It looks like the last season. Oh my god! I didn't even realize. I was wrong as fuck. I was wrong.
So like 3 years?
Fuck. No. So what happened? What happened was, I'm just reading right now. So apparently, The Ultimate Fighter has been a show for 28 seasons. It started on Spike TV in 2005 and got canceled on Spike in 2011, where the channel FX picked it up for a 1-year contract until they could work out the details with Fox Sports. Fox Sports then held it from 2013 to 2018, and the Fight Pass picked it up in 14, and you can obviously still get it with the Fight Pass. And then BT Sports picked it up, and then ESPN Plus picked it up in 2021. So it looks like it's still on BT Sports and ESPN Plus, but it left Fox Sports in 2018. So yeah, it looks like it's just streaming stuff, and I don't even know what BT Sport is.
BT Sports is the European version of ESPN.
Yeah, so it doesn't even apply. So yeah, it's streaming service here or TV over there. Okay, that's what happened to it. So they just
if I was the UFC, if I'm king of the world, Scrooge McDuck, I am taking the Ultimate Fighter and I'm doing two things. I'm either doing Conor and Dustin for a trilogy match, or I'm doing Holloway and the winner of Volkanovski Ortega.
Okay. What the fuck? You see that?
I saw you pawing at the air like one of your cats.
Got it. There's a little bug in my face. Sorry, guys. Send in tips to get rid of bugs in the studio. Send in tips. I don't. This is outrageous. Is there a dead body?
Apple cider vinegar. Take a red Solo cup, saran wrap it, put holes in it, and then the flies will be drawn to the cider vinegar. Can't get through the saran wrap.
Oh, is that? Oh, that's like kind of like that upside down Pepsi bottle thing for bees. but for flies instead, smaller scale.
Yeah, one of my apartment mates decided to just infest the entire complex with fruit flies. I'm not sure what happened, but I had, like, fruit flies all over the place. Now, it wasn't my apartment. For all you thinking I'm dirty, no, it definitely wasn't my apartment. But no, that the apple cider vinegar trick worked wonders.
You probably left, like, a thing of bananas. You know, like when you leave bananas for too long and then flies go everywhere. But that's where flies come from the most. They dig into the banana peel.
Yeah, or like drain flies or something if they just haven't cleaned their sink or some dirty, I don't know.
Drain flies. If you have drain flies, you need to get your fucking shit together. Disgusting. Disgusting. Clean your goddamn sinks. Anyway, hey, what are we talking about? Sinks?
We were talking about Usman feeling good and taking on Wonderboy.
Yeah, yes.
I think that's the matchup.
Okay.
I think it's a fresh matchup. It's no rematch. If Usman really wants to clean out the division, Wonderboy's the guy.
Let's see if there's any. I want to see if there's anyone talking about that because it looks like. Well, first of all, Stephen Thompson calls out champion Kamaru Usman, explains the boot makes sense. Yeah. It looks like he's asking fans to support it.
Both guys are on a similar timeline. I don't think the Ultimate Fighter should go to anyone but Holloway versus the winner of Volkanovski-Ortega. I mean, the whole purpose of the Ultimate Fighter really isn't to, like, build an Ultimate Fighting champion. It's really to take the two coaches and put them head-to-head for a few weeks. And you want the public to buy that inevitable pay-per-view. And right now, the public needs to have faith in Conor to win the trilogy over Dustin, or they need faith in Holloway to look really good against Volkanovski in the trilogy, or prove that Ortega can beat Holloway in the rematch where Holloway stunted on him.
Honestly, I think when he fucked him up big time, I don't think that's a normal occurrence. I think that's I think he had like a rough night before. I don't think he was there was something wrong there. That was not a normal fight to me.
Holloway beasted on him.
To just get absolutely spanked like that. I mean, that was like literally watching like a Division I football team play like a Division III football team. It didn't make sense to me how easily he went. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not paying enough attention, but to me that didn't make him much. Like he must have had like a late night, nerves got to him, wasn't feeling healthy. I don't know, but that was fucking weird.
I mean, I would, if I was in Ortega's corner, and I don't know what's going on over there, but I would chop it up to that 5-round. You know, that people, they see 5 rounds and they're trying to train for it, and you're trying to hold your cardio, and then you're in round 2, you're like, okay, so I'm going to take round 1 off, and then by round 2, we'll start implementing the game plan. The problem is Holloway's already hit you 100 times in the face.
Yeah.
And you just can't recover. And, you know, God bless Ortega for taking that ass kicking.
So you think Ortega just basically got just kind of tired out?
It's experience. It's what we were saying at the top of the show. It's the experience that pays. You pay me now or you pay me later. And it was just a pay me now performance. He just wasn't ready. And he went out there and he murdered Korean Zombie. He went out there and he put it on Korean Zombie. So Ortega's really made improvements. He has the next fight against Volkanovski, and if he can get past Volkanovski, it's a big order. But Ortega, he's got a really interesting style. Ortega can beat anyone on any given night. So that's officially, I have no idea what's going to happen in that fight.
I'm reading here on ESPN right now. This is ESPN News. This came out today. This came out today about 3 hours ago. It says, believe it or not, UFC's Kamaru Usman's next title defense will be a rematch against Jorge Masvidal.
Well, and, if it makes money, it makes sense.
It says, when UFC President Dana White mentions a possible rematch, it creates a domino effect of speculations that leaves fans, media, and even fighters trying to weave through the various blah, 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 blah.
Oh, no, that's us.
White... Yep. It's basically ESPN cutting through all of the weird ways that Dana White has mentioned that it could happen, and they're basically just betting on it. So this is not confirmed. This is them making an opinion piece appear as news to me. I'm reading. But
speaking of the egg, Dana White, he has strongly had an allergy to 165 pounds. Yeah. Where for the longest time people want 10-pound weight classes, 55, 65, 75. This is probably the time I realized that 65 is a pipe dream. It shouldn't happen. if you look at 55, everyone in the top 10 is a killer. They have to fight each other. They can't go bouncing around between divisions, doing the champ hold up. I mean, look at middleweight right now. You know, Izzy's kind of cleaned up a little bit, but Whitaker deserves that rematch, and he's just going to bounce to 205. It's this champ, the log jam that's being created at the top of these divisions needs to end. And I hope Usman's willing. I mean, he's taking the rematch. He probably wants to bounce Jorge, get that bad taste out of his mouth.
I mean, because what Wonderboy he beat recently. He had back-to-back wins recently, right? Didn't he just beat Vincent and Jeff Neal and Vincent?
That was insane performances, so, amazing performances.
And they're back-to-back, and so like if he comes back, takes on Usman, and he crushes Usman. Let's say he comes back, crushes Usman. Holy shit.
Career resurgence.
Holy shit. I mean, he'll be one of the most Googled names overnight. Like, it'll be hit, like, it'll literally be like Conor McGregor, fucking Wonderboy. It'll be like in that order.
Well, everyone rags on Wonderboy because he got knocked out by Pettis, who's no longer in the UFC.
Yeah, but a while ago.
Yeah, and Pettis jumped off the cage, punched him in the mouth. Like, yeah,
bring
it's...
that up. Let's talk, Okay, then the Lions still suck. Okay, that's a bad example because they do. But
it's like Wonderboy's never been knocked out, and then he gets knocked out by Pettis, and everyone thinks he's garbage. And no, the guy is at top 3, top 5 for sure. Yeah, gives anyone a competitive fight.
I don't understand. To me, it just shows like how easily swayed the general public can be. Like one knockout, and then suddenly he's trash. Like, what? Have you not been watching his fucking career? I don't even know the UFC as well as most of my friends do who I talk to this shit about, and they still jump on the fuck Wonderboy bandwagon. It's like, what are you talking about? I don't follow this as much as you do, and I know that that's a dumbass thing to say. Come on.
He also kind of got blackballed by the UFC for a little bit because he had 2 stinker pay-per-views against Woodley. Like, he went out and he had the fight at 205 with Woodley, and then he had a fight a few pay-per-views later in the immediate rematch, and both of them, the first fight was really exciting because he probably won 3 of those rounds, but got 10-8'd, and it ended up a majority draw, so neither guy won.
Yeah.
But in the rematch, he was super tentative, and then he got dropped at the end. And then he went out and fought Till, super tentative, got dropped at the end, lost that one. But, you know, there's sometimes when you have that long of a career, you get a few mulligans. It's so hard to show up for work in that sport.
Dude,
you know, who knows what injury he had.
Me? It's hard enough. Dude, these people's fucking, like, they go to work to train to murder people. Like, this is like the only job where you can legally be like, I'm learning how to just absolutely fucking choke someone out today. Like, I'm learning how to just, if I kept this hold, they would die. That's what I'm learning today. And they're like, wow, cool, yeah, and I'm just an accountant up at the bank. Like, their job is so fucking different. So, you know, like, people who work 9 to 5 come home and want to be entertained. It's like, well, those people do also go to the gym and have sparring matches and stuff. While you're, like, at the bank teller, they aren't just at home eating chips. They're training, and they're fighting, and they're working out. And, like, injuries happen off of fights, too. It's not like you only get injured during fights.
You don't have to be sparring, even. Some of the worst bruises I've ever had in my life are from new heavy bags. Where the gym will put in a new heavy bag, and I don't recognize it, and I just thud it with a kick, and my shin is bruised for 2 weeks.
And then just silver your shin, and just...
Yeah, because I didn't recognize it's a new heavy bag.
Do they look the same? Like, they all just black, or...
Yeah, and then the gym I go to has a sponsorship, so it's all like the same equipment, and then it comes in like somewhat scheduled times.
I get you. So yeah, it's tough to notice unless you're like, oh wow, that thread isn't torn there anymore, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, or it's a new heavy bag, and I'm like, oh, I haven't, you know, like, oh, that's slightly used, and then I kick the bottom of it, and it's lead. Like, it's just like the bag hasn't settled correctly. Like, for those of you who haven't hit heavy bags in the past or like spent like years on a heavy bag, like you have to break them in.
Oh, dude,
like you can't just start slugging those things because you'll break your hands and legs.
Dude, you know how many people? So in our old house at Beta, we had a heavy bag in the basement, and then when we moved to our First Avenue house, we took it with us to there, and like. We'd have, obviously, the backyard parties and stuff, and people would try to come punch the heavy bag not knowing what they're doing, Because it's not like a regular punching bag where it's like softer and absorbent, like what you're used to, like going to a bar and doing like I punched the punch. No, it's a fucking heavy bag, and like people would come and punch it and like literally just about fracture their arms, or like break a finger, or like dislocate a knuckle, or do something. I'm like, yeah, you're not supposed to hit it like that.
All right, we're doing the lesson right here. This is my moment.
Okay.
The bottom 3 knuckles, pinky to middle knuckle.
Yep.
Those are your striking knuckles. Never let your index knuckle be the striking knuckle. It's the back 3. People have known this for the longest time, and I don't know where this front 2... Hit him with the front 2 knuckles. Like, I don't know where that came from.
That came from the street. I can tell you where it came from, because my high school thought like that. So if it was ghetto, that was how my high school friends thought of things. So like, yeah, no, man, you punch them with the front 2 fingers, they hurt more. Yeah, they break your hand. Yeah, that's exactly what happens, you dumb, stupid fucks. Like,
well, it's like right here, right? So, flat surface. If I put my hand flat like this, my wrist is in alignment. But if I do this, my wrist is way out of whack. I'm going to break my wrist this way. Where this, I can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for those of you audio listeners, I'm very sorry for this moment.
No, they're fine. They're fine.
you paid the toll to be an audio listener, but
real quick,
yeah. But one of the other things I wanted to talk about with this is we might have to do 2 shows a week. We might have to do like a Friday morning show.
Friday mornings, get up and early and do a morning radio.
Yeah, I mean, we might need an over/under prop bet on how many fights fall out to COVID per week.
We forgot to explain to people why this episode's late today.
Because I was exhausted.
Because Paul also works a regular job where he has a lot of responsibilities. I'm not going to tell you where he works, but it's a very high-end job with a lot of responsibilities, and the motherfucker can get tired every once in a while. So
yes, to the one fan who asked us where the episode was, this is your moment.
His name was Dylan, and we appreciate you for reaching out. That's really cool. We have someone. Hey, where are you? We're only a month in. It's so cool.
know.
Thanks, Dylan. You made us feel like we're important. Appreciate that.
Dylan, our boy.
Yeah, our downloads are getting bigger every fucking week. I'm thankful.
You do good work here.
Everyone listening, thank you so much. God damn. Like, this is so cool. I mean, I don't have to go to a regular job every day because I'm a comedian, and my regular jobs, I just go to bars and shit talk people. But I also don't make as much money as Paul, so there's that. You know, you make your life choices. You make your choices. Some people go to work and make a fuckload of money. Some people become a comedian and live broke as fuck. You know, it's just the life. It's the decisions you make when you're young.
But no, it's like what this past weekend we had 4 fights fall out to COVID.
Yep.
Right. Like, we spent a good amount of time on the last podcast talking about the fights we were looking forward to, and they all fell out, especially the Bobby Green one versus Jim Miller. I was gutted over that, and he just couldn't make it to the scales.
Yeah, I know. Why? What happened?
He probably murdered himself that morning to make weight.
I don't get, what do you mean?
They probably put him in 5 towels, threw him in the sauna until he was medium rare, and then threw him onto the scales. And he blacked out.
Oh, so it was...
Yeah, he collapsed. So when you do the weigh-ins, you go up, you do the flexing, and there's a 2-hour window where you're allowed to weigh in. And then after the 2-hour window, you have to stay there. The UFC provides a buffet, and they have fruits, and you can meet and greet and stuff like that.
So after weigh-in, you can eat as much as you want?
Oh, yeah, you're drinking a gallon of water, you're doing your liquid IV sponsorship and all that stuff.
When the fight actually occurs, let's say it's a 170 bout. When that fight actually occurs, so those fighters are more like 180?
More, they're probably close to 190. Like Usman, a guy with that kind of muscle mass, you gotta think, Usman is probably 170 for 5 seconds. Like, he probably steps on that scale, and that's it. And then he fights again in 36 hours. Michael Chandler, I forget whose podcast he was on, but I was listening to him, and Michael Chandler said that it was over 40 hours by the time he weighed in and actually got in the ring against Dan Hooker.
40 hours?
40 hours.
Why so long?
Well, he weighed in bright and early at like 6 a.m., right? And then 6 p.m. the next day would be 36, and then he didn't fight until like 10.
I suppose. Yeah, you're right. It's just weird to see that much time elapse, and that it just doesn't feel like you can fit 40 hours into that time period.
Yeah, it's insane, but I mean, think about Usman. He was probably feeling good, probably drinking coconut water, getting his muscles all nice and just hydrated. He was, I don't know. That guy, he's hiding a ton of weight.
He's got paper clips in his back, like he's stretching all of, sticking all, holding his shit up.
I mean, he looks like Holyfield, like a Vander, like the real deal Holyfield, like his back and how wide he is. And it's like, I don't know. I just watched him knock Burns out with a jab.
So what I want to ask too, like we touched on it last week, but do you think we're ever going to see a female versus male UFC fight?
Never.
Never once.
Don't even entertain it.
Well, we brushed on it the other week. We brushed on it how...
No, we brushed on Nunes knocking out Jake Paul. Or no, Katie Taylor and Conor McGregor. That's what it was.
Yeah. So we did touch on it. So
that's a boxing match. It's very different.
So it wouldn't be UFC. It would be like a box. But do you think you would be able to sanction that fight, or do you think it would have to be an exhibition without any... Like it would be like in the alley, invite your friends, call 10 people. We're all meeting at the Shakey's.
This is Conor checking out the Olympic Training Center like he's an Olympic boxer. And he's like, "Oh, Katie!" And he just walks into the ring and gets a boxing lesson.
I suppose.
Yeah, like he would get his ears boxed off. And, obviously, like, there are weight classes for a reason, and, we stick to all these things, and it's literally the predominant reason I think Usman would destroy Khabib. But, I'll take hate for that, too. Blow me up in the comments.
Do it,
just Usman's the guy. I'm the train conductor.
Shout out for the 5-star review on the fucking iTunes, by the way. We already have 5 stars. Whoever you are, I'm guessing it's Dylan. Dylan probably gave us that 5-star review. Shout out, Dylan. I'm just giving you the credit, even if you didn't do it. Like tonight, we look at it, there's a second review, and it's like, oh, that was Dylan. Dylan felt left out. He didn't. He thought we were calling on him. He thought we were calling him out. Poor Dylan. We could meet you sometime, if you're in the area. What is... Oh, my God. I'm sorry. My agent just texted me a fucking... You ever get text, and it's like 4 paragraphs long? It's like, call me. Call me. I'm not reading this. This is 4 paragraphs of information that I have to readily know. Like, I'm not reading this. Call me. If you're an agent and you have a client under you that is getting shows canceled a lot and rescheduled, call him. Don't text him. He doesn't want you to text him. He wants you to call him to discuss the problems. Okay? Just for everyone out there, in case you're wondering, for none of the agents who are listening right now, if you one day become an agent, don't be that guy. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah. So like, just the last touch on MMA before we get to your wheelhouse. We're still figuring out how we want to do this because, this will release on Thursday and we're recapping last week and we're going to have a pretty brief look ahead towards the end. But man, the week will change a lineup so quickly.
Yeah. Oh, it will. Especially now. Especially now.
Now. I mean, just a little teaser, but I mean, I remember when we first mentioned Blades versus, Black Beast. That's coming up this weekend.
Yep.
And he was minus 300 to open. He's minus 450 right now.
Yeah, yes, he fucking... Dude, okay.
It's banana peel range.
Curtis Blades is... Okay, he's minus 440, and Derek Lewis is plus 340, with 1.5 rounds on the over-under.
Madness.
1.5 rounds.
Madness.
1.5 rounds, Paul. What the fuck?
I'm betting on 7.5 minutes. I'm betting the over. It goes over.
Should I go to this one? It's right here.
It's like, the thing is like at over 1.5, you're literally betting on 7.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, Curtis Blades just did 25 minutes against Volkov.
Yeah.
Derek Lewis has had multiple third-round knockouts. Like, to put minus 160 at 1.5, I don't know what the bookies are doing. Like, how, that's not even, like, 2.5 really should be the bet, because by then we'll see if Blades can get the wrestling and if Lewis can punish it. But by 1.5, the script of the fight isn't set.
Right. Absolutely not. Absolutely.
And especially at heavyweight,
And the
that
over-
is
right.
that is, I don't want to think it's fool's gold, but minus 160 at that, I'm all over that.
It's plus 160 at under 1.5 ounce.
No, I want the over.
Oh, you want the over?
I want the over.
That's minus 190.
Okay, it's minus 190 now?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I have a 160 in my notes. Yeah, so Vegas is catching on.
Yeah, they're getting
Okay.
there. They're getting there. Here's the deal. Like, I almost want to like go to MGM because I had a bookie the other day that I was talking to. He works at the Wynn, and I was trying to figure. I'm like, what are you guys like talking about half the time? He listens now. I gave him the and I should almost get him to come on sometime and try to like talk to us about what the fuck they think about when they're making these odds. Ben, if you're listening, write me another email. I gave him my card. Write me another email. I want to talk to you about it. It'd be dope.
Yeah, the thing is that the bookie has a few jobs. One, they have to correctly make the odds. That's like the hardest part. But the second thing, and this is the sweetness of it, you have to incentivize people to put their money down. And I'm looking at, when I saw minus 160, I knew there was a problem, jumped all over it. Now it's minus 190. They're creeping up. They're catching on.
Yeah.
So you have to see the juice, and that's why I want to do this two podcast thing. Get one nice and early, and then get one at weigh-ins. Because the other thing is that minute you see the fighter at weigh-ins, do you see Bobby Green shaking on the scales?
Yeah.
That is bet the mortgage
Yeah.
on Jim Miller.
Yep.
That, like, I almost like live betting more than doing pre-fight bets.
Fun. Live betting is, dude, sportsbook. Can we talk about MyBookie for a minute? We got to reach out and get a sponsorship from MyBookie for the amount of times that we're given. They have cryptocurrency now on MyBookie. So, like, I was betting in Bitcoin. It is the coolest thing I have ever done in my entire life. Like, if you like Bitcoin, which is a lot of people now, Remember a couple years ago when I was like, hey, I bought all this Bitcoin, and everyone was like, you're so gay. You're wasting your money. It's stupid. And now it's worth $58,000 a coin. And they're like, hey, Jake, how'd you set up that wallet? Can you teach me how do you set up a wallet? It's like, figure it out, bitch. I thought I was gay. I don't know.
Hey, Jake, pay my student loans.
Suddenly it's cool to have Bitcoin because it's worth a shitload of money. And it's like, well, so what? Back when it was, I mean, I'm saying only like 5,000, but it was worth 5,000 when I bought in. And it's people are like, oh, it's way overpriced. I bet you if you go back in time and buy a 5,000 now, you'd buy like 100 fucking Bitcoin at 5,000. Just spend all your money on Bitcoin and just be homeless for 2 years and wait. And you'll be a millionaire at the time you're done. Seriously, like
just invest a smooth $500,000 in Bitcoin.
Just to see what would happen. I put in $1 of Bitcoin on the Cash App to see how much it would grow to $2, how quickly it would. It took 2 days. I doubled my income. Like, people don't understand how good of an investment Bitcoin is. Like, you don't fucking... Tesla, the company Tesla, bought $150 million of Bitcoin, and you can buy your car and get refunds and service work and everything with Bitcoin. Like, you can get a ride with SpaceX to launch your rocket with Bitcoin. Like, don't tell me it's not a real currency. It's being used in the market. Millions and millions of dollars. It's not just drugs anymore.
Oh my gosh! Sure. But yeah, let's just fly through this this card real quick. But one of so to finish up on the headliner, Derek Lewis used to tell his doctor that he was an airline pilot, and the reason he did that is because he had such a bad back. And I don't know if it's muscular, maybe he has herniated disc. I'm not exactly sure. But he's had surgery in his back, and that was a big thing with the Daniel Cormier fight. But he legitimately used to tell his doctor that he was a pilot because that's the only job he could think of where he was sitting down all day without shaking like a truck driver or anything else. So the guy with Knockout King tattooed on his chest was telling his doctor.
Yeah, I'm a captain for Delta. I sit left seat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a transatlantic flight this morning, actually. That's how I got here. I was in Munich this morning. I flew that transatlantic jet all the way here to talk to you. The doctor did not believe him for a goddamn minute. There's no way. Oh, you're an airline. Are you a nurse, too? Like... Are you a professor at Oxford while you're at it?
I hope it's an exaggerated story, but knowing Derek Lewis, I mean, this is the guy who got the Popeyes chicken sponsorship and then just never cashed it in.
Why? Why would you cash it in?
It just never came around. Never did it. Just couldn't.
Couldn't bring himself to getting the money for it?
Nope.
That's the only reason why I ever do commercials, is to get paid.
I remember, like, Helwani asked him about a year later, and he was just still like, wait, what Popeye's shit? Papa? Oh, yeah, that fight, yeah. It's just... but going on, we've got Ketlin Vieira versus Yana Kunitskaya, and I really like Ketlin in that fight. I think she's growing into her own, and I think Yana is kind of, I don't want to say stagnating, but I think Ketlin is, you put her in a cannon and you launch her to the moon. Like, she had a
275.
Yeah, that's because Yana, and if you look at her record, Yana did have a loss to Tonya Evinger, and that's really tough. So it's, their past victory, and Ketlin, she had a tough loss against Irene Aldana. She got knocked out, but I mean, that was a gun show for as long as it lasted. Like, it's not like Irene just went out there and left hooked her face off. It's like, no, Ketlin had her moments, but I think Ketlin gets back on track, even as heavy as a favorite as she is. But that's what I'm saying, is you've got two girls who are really, like, hyper competitive with each other, but at the top of the ticket, at minus 190, you have two heavyweights fighting for 5 rounds.
Yeah. And
you're not going to give them 7 minutes. Like, I keep repeating that 7 minutes. It's blowing my mind. I can't believe it's set at 1.5.
Well, because I don't think there's many people who think of it like that. I think when you're saying 7 minutes, I don't think people are thinking of it as 7 minutes. I think people are thinking of it as 1.5 rounds. And, like, the time when you're watching a fight is so different. Like, your perception of time is not the same, like, when you're watching the fight. It's just not. Like, some rounds go by real fast, some rounds go by real slow, but at the end of the day, it's all the same exact time round. So, like, when you put it into minutes instead of rounds, it makes it more, like, real. And I think it makes it almost easier to bet on at that point. For me, at least, it does.
Well, also, I think Lewis is tough to finish. It took Cormier 2 rounds to do it, I believe. So he's tough to finish, and Blades isn't exactly like a super fast finisher. I know he did have a knockout win over Junior Dos Santos that everyone's all hyped on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't take a ton from that. But yeah, so then going down, I'm really interested in Tom Aspinall. This guy, he trains with Darren Till, and he's in the Andre Arlovsky fight. And this is the fight Arlovsky gets every up-and-comer.
And again, this is only a 1.5 rounds over-under.
What's the odd on that?
It's under 165, over plus 135.
The over 1.5. Oh my gosh, what are they doing? Again, Aspinall could come out. He's had 2 knockouts. He's a very potent finisher, but Arlovsky is so savvy. I mean, Arlovsky has gone out there and beaten Augusto Sakai and Tanner Bozer, and we thought those guys were the next guys.
He's just agile. He's quick. He can move his head quick, too. Like, he's fast. Like, maybe not fast. Quick, not fast, if that makes sense. He's
kind of. My take on that is he cycles his options very quickly. Like, okay, my jab's not working, I'm going to go to the clinch. Okay, my clinch isn't working, I'm going to go for wrestling. Okay, how about kicks? Are kicks working? No?
Right,
okay,
so
how about the jab and the combinations? And he's very good at mixing up the game plan, and you see him do that to guys like Bozer and Sakai, where he's just kind of able to wear him down. And it's not the most, like, impressive thing in the world, but I dare you guys to go back and watch that Arlovsky-Travis Brown fight. People sleep on Arlovsky. He's had some kind of, whatever performances or whatever, but man, for the longest time, he was one of the most exciting heavyweights in the world, with some of the best boxing in the world.
Dude. Okay, when you think of... Okay, let me go down. I'm looking at the next couple of fights here that are coming up. Okay.
The next one, off the top of my head, without looking at my notes, Drakkar Klose should have a pretty easy night against Luis Pena. Drakkar Klose, really solid wrestler. Pena's pretty undersized, but Pena suffers from, like, what I like to call tall man syndrome, where he's too tall for the weight class, and he just is going to get taken down.
Okay,
and
so I'm looking at his...
Yeah.
So I'm looking... Okay, so it looks like with Klose, he's at a minus 180, and Pena at a plus 150, over under 2.5 rounds, minus 245 over, plus 205 under. So that to me makes a little more sense. 2.5 rounds makes a little more sense to me than the fucking 1.5 that they've been bullshitting with. I mean, okay, even the Rafael Els fight and Pat, I fucking can never say this name without fucking it up, but Sabatini, is it Sabatini? I think it's Sabatini. I can't say it. It's Italian. I can't fucking say it. But he's at a plus 155, and they're also at a 1.5 round. I mean, how quickly do they think this fucking cards are going to go through? I mean, almost everyone here is at a 1.5 round fucking part. Like, how fast are they expecting this fight night to go? Like,
yeah, right. Like, it's confusing, but for the close fight, I would say straight up, Drakkar, get a little better money on that, and I'm pretty confident on that. Pena could surprise me, but I think a lot of it is like everyone is big on like he's trained, like he's in Daniel Cormier's camp, and they're really good, and Cormier's an Olympic wrestler and all this, but it's like if you watch Pena, and I've watched Pena in the prelims and everything, he struggles with the grappling, but the big one, if you want to really put a dog, maybe dog in the night, the dog that's barking the most is, Ayman Zahabi. That's Firas Zahabi's brother, the legendary coach of George St. Pierre. And, that's, Zahabi's had some tough fights. He's gotten knocked out. He's lost decisions. But they matchmake him really well. And Firas really doesn't want him to lose, obviously, as his brother. But yeah, at plus 155 against a guy who is like a Midwest talent isn't. I like Zahabi in that. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I think he's just too much of a veteran. It's like when you go to the gym and you start sparring with these like black belts, or you start sparring with these guys that just know it. It's like Arlovsky. They just cycle options so quickly, and they figure out a way to win, and boom, it's been 15 minutes, and the judges are writing their scorecards.
Have we talked about Andrei Arlovsky yet? Tom Aspinall? Have we talked about that?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Right, never mind. I was just going to mention. Okay, never mind.
Mm-hmm. But then the other one, and this is probably my last like suggestion of it, would be Spivak. I think Spivak at minus 225 is a pretty solid choice. I do like that guy. He's got very solid wrestling. He had a really good showing against Tai Tuivasa and Jared Vendera. I don't know too much about him, but I think Spivak is the guy, and I think they are trying to get him a win.
Well, and they've only got him as an over-under 1.5 rounds as well. And so, yeah, Spivak is fucking minus 245, and is at a plus 185 for under 1.5 rounds. So, like, they're betting on him to fucking slap with shit. Honestly...
Yeah, so I think this is like, and again, going back to like how I hate like prediction podcasts here. That's not what we do here.
No, we're not.
But it's I like the straight up. You get into this point where it's like, oh, I've done 100 hours of tape. I've done however much tape on this guy. I've done all the tape in the world, and it's like you just get paralyzed in it, and you're so deep in your own head. And I'm not exactly sure, but I think the grappling gets it. I think Spivak he's at the UFC level, and Vandera is just not exactly there yet. So I'm not sure.
In jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, he's a grappler, and he's got good hands, not the best, but by far he's a very solid grappler, and I think that would be his path to victory. But outside that, scrolling through the prelims, I don't have a hot take.
Well, what kind of fighter is Jared Vendera? I'm gonna look him up. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, so Vandera, I'm not actually sure what skill of his is at the UFC level, if that makes sense. Like, when you get to these guys, like, this is mixed martial arts, so, like, some guys have, like, black belt kickboxing. They've got, like, I'm saying black belt, kind of hand-waving, like, as a status, but I'm not exactly sure what he does at that UFC level. I mean, he's still just kind of blending it all and things like that, but I don't know. I think the experience of Spivak should really have a good edge for him.
Well, I'm looking at the lineups here on ESPN, and it's yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I guess I want to believe what they're talking. So I guess the reason why I'm shocked by this is they're Jared Vendera is 11-4-0, and they're saying that his fighting style is a kickboxer, but that's not what it looks like in some of his highlight videos. I mean, they're saying that might just be his background, but that's not at all what it looks like in his highlight videos.
Yeah, so that's really the thing about MMA is it's like there are so many ways to win, and it's these. I don't know. I really do think it's going to be the experience. I think this should be a good night at the office for Spivak.
So you think Jared's going down?
Yeah, and I would do that money line straight up. I wouldn't play with over-unders or any props.
Oh, straight money line. Right.
And it's minus 245, so no one really wants to lay the juice on that. And I'm looking ahead right now into the future odds, and we have Ankalaev versus Nikita Krylov on the 27th of February, and that is bet the house on Ankalaev. That guy, just for a little bit more juice, I am so much more confident in Ankalaev to take Nikita Krylov out.
He's at the minus 315 right now. I mean, that's...
You should be minus 500.
Minus 315 is a pretty good for fucking sports bookies. Minus 315 is a pretty good number to be betting on for this one.
And he'll close in the Curtis Blades range.
This is one of the few times where they're severely slewing their numbers towards one person, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, half the time that they're putting like a minus 400 on whoever fucking fights against McGregor, and McGregor gets his ass kicked every time. It's like this time to me, it seems to me. I'm sorry for going off on McGregor. People get mad when I make fun of McGregor, but seriously, I don't know what his deal is. I want him to get better. It's fucking annoying watching him lose all the time. It really is.
Gotta be tough for Johnny Casual to just wonder why Conor is losing to this Russian guy, and now he's losing to Floyd. It's just, he lost to Poirier, the guy that runs the charity and has the hot sauce company.
Right,
okay.
Like, it's just weird that he's just losing. Loss. Like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're kind of fucking getting together.
Yeah. Well, there are no easy fights at that level. Like, Conor he's got to headline a pay-per-view. He can't headline a pay-per-view against, he wanted Diego Sanchez, for example. You know, and I understand he wanted, a stay busy fight, but that's something you have to do on ESPN+. You can't charge, he would literally be minus $1 million. It would be ridiculous. But, yeah, let's finish up with the MMA here and jump over to the NHL.
All right. Well, before we finish up with MMA, I want to ask one more question: Is Julian Marquez getting the chest CK or the chest CM, and is Miley Cyrus getting the fucking henna tattoo?
I think if these two are gonna keep it up, Marquez is gonna need a giant tattoo on his chest. And we're not talking shaving initials anymore. We're talking a tattoo of Miley on a wrecking ball, going through, on his shoulder of her at the wrecking ball. We're at that level.
Oh my god!
You don't big league Miley with a henna. Get a henna tattoo that says Cuban Missile Crisis, like you're Tupac. Did you make a demand?
I seriously, that's what I'm saying. Did you just make a demand to Miley fucking Cyrus?
This guy.
Stop it. And it's just, this is my time to shine. So Miley Cyrus, will you be my Valentine? It makes a rhyming thing, right? She goes, shave an MC into your chest hair, and I am yours with a heart. Happy Valentine's Day, and congrats, my love. I mean, how much more straightforward do you have to already be inside of Miley's pants right now? There is nothing more you need to do. You shave that CM and you fucking put it in 6th gear on the 405 over to Miley Cyrus's house immediately. That's what you do. You don't respond if you get a henna tattoo that says Cuban Missile Crisis above your belly button like Tupac, I'm in, #Thug Life. No, you're not Thug Life. You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You just blew it. You blew it big time. I think she's done because she just divorced Liam Hemsworth last month.
That's gonna go. I'm gonna remember that one for a while. People are gonna remember this guy for that.
Not
when
even
you shoot your shot, you've got to do it. When Michael Chandler cut that promo after his win at the UFC, where he's doing the Ric Flair, this is the greatest moment of my professional career.
Yeah.
How many times that guy practiced it in the mirror?
Above
How many
500.
times did Julian Marquez practice that in the mirror, only to legitimately trip on his own face?
No, for real. He literally. He held on to the firecracker until it blew up in his fingers. He did not. He doesn't. It's.
Oh, did you go on his Twitter?
Yes.
People are delete the post, delete it, delete it.
Everyone...
They're not even.
That's where I get a lot of my news from.
the Twitter feeds. Everyone's favorite news source, Twitter. Unfortunate news source for shit like this. So, we'll go over the NHL. I'll talk about it real quick. I want to talk about the fact that the Bruins are favored to win the Cup this year, which is great for me, but not great for everyone else, because everyone loves to hate New England. Everyone loves to hate the New England teams. If you're the Red Sox, or the Patriots, or the Bruins, or the fucking Celtics, you're going to get hated on by the entire country. So the minute the Bruins were favored to win the Cup, they're like, the NHL is rigging it to make it look like the Bruins are better than they are. No. Chara just freed up $7 million of fucking space by getting his... I mean, sorry to be that guy, but how long have we been waiting for Chara to leave the team? Like, 5 years now? He's old. He gets hurt every year. And he's sucking up all that cap space. So, I don't know. And now, I think it's because they're favored to win the Cup that everyone's like, it's not even a real Cup win, bro. It's short season. Short season, bro. It's not even a real Cup win. Last year's Cup wasn't a real win either? Like, they still did most of the season, and they still played all the games. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, don't hate the player, hate the game.
I don't get it. Patrice Bergeron is being a great captain for the Bruins. They deserve the Cup this year, in my opinion. That, or they'll be like, we're going to retroactively give the Cup to the Seattle Kraken. We want them to feel involved. I know they're not a team this year yet, but we want them to feel like they matter. What do you think is going to happen with the Kraken? You think they're staying or leaving Seattle? I don't think they're staying for long.
They might tough it out for those first 2 to 5 years, but you really have to look hard at their stadium deal, because that's going to really make or break that thing.
Well, just look at what's happening in Seattle. The place is fucking turning into Detroit overnight, dude.
Yeah. The place always rains. It's a terrible place to live.
It's just not. Everyone's leaving Seattle to go to Idaho. They aren't a growing population. They're a shrinking population. I just don't get it. They had options. They could have gone to Milwaukee, which is growing. They could have gone to Quebec City, which has been crying for a team for decades. They could have gone to, I don't know, they could have gone a lot of places. And they're like, where we should go? We should definitely head to the place where everyone's flocking away from at the moment. What the fuck are you talking about? It's just, to me, it's ridiculous. It's annoying. They're probably going to be okay. I mean, I was saying the same things about the Knights being in Vegas. I still think that the Knights aren't going to be here forever. I'm still pretty sure that it's more of a new... I mean, people who were super huge on the Knights 3 years ago when they were the new team, they don't even have jerseys anymore because they aren't winning the Cup. They aren't whooping ass every year. So that happens when you have an expansion team.
I mean, when I was in college, I went to more Milwaukee Admirals games, which is they're a AAA team.
Yeah, it's their junior
and
team
they're out of Milwaukee.
For the Admirals, yep.
And I went to more Admiral games. I went Blackhawks games. More more Admiral games than Milwaukee Bucks games.
The new Bucks Center has a sheet of ice under the court. You take up the court and there's ice under there. It's a fucking arena that's already built. You could work with the NBA to make so much money on that fucking stadium. But no, we're gonna go build a new one in Seattle. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Who made this decision? This is the dumbest...
Yeah.
I swear to God, we have, the Bucks in Milwaukee, the Brewers in Milwaukee, and then we have the Packers in Green Bay. And I think that's about it, right? We don't have... we have those three teams, and everyone, pretends that all the logos that we make have the Badgers W in it because we don't have enough teams to make up, a normal combined logo like every other city has. So... I don't get it, man. Right. Fuck Seattle. I don't understand what the big deal is. I've been there. Seattle's nothing to fucking look at. I was supposed to go to... Notice how loudmouth I am about how shitty Seattle is? I'm supposed to be there this weekend for a goddamn show. And
they're gonna just throw hockey pucks at you.
Fuck you guys for not letting... You got canceling shit. Fuck this. And I'm just all angry at the sports team because the comedy show got canceled.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I want to ask you. So, COVID has never rescheduled a game in Canada, but it does routinely reschedule games in America. Routinely, weekly. New games are being rescheduled. Dallas is rescheduled twice in a row now. Not for COVID, that's for the snowstorm. But, the amount of fucking reschedules that happen here in the States and the amount of reschedules that don't happen in Canada is,
yeah, they have less teams, but they've also never had a single reschedule. It's not a ratio. They've never had one. So, like, I just don't, like, what the fuck? Do you think we're just not handling it well? Like, is America...
Oh, wow, really? Stunning.
Well, here's the deal. I really don't know. I really don't know what to believe half the time. And they're like, it's getting better, and the next day it's getting worse, and then this news source says it's great, and that news source says it's terrible, and I honestly don't know. I truly do not understand. And I don't think anyone in America can confidently say they have a handle as to the situation of COVID. I don't think anyone does. At least, well, you might, because you might, but I don't. But your knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, we're not epidemiologists here, but I think a lot of those decisions, like the rescheduling decisions, comes to like the roster, like how many guys can play. I mean, we just watched in the NFL them throwing out third stringers because of COVID. They had the dude from the XFL come out. They had the wide receiver who was like red-shirted play quarterback. So I think a lot of those decisions come down to like how much of your roster can like, I don't know, feasibly play. So I don't know.
Like how are rosters in America this affected, and rosters in Canada are just not?
Well, it's, I would also be willing to bet it has like everything to do with the Canadian population being a fraction of the United States.
Yeah,
they're far more spread out.
They have 39 million people, and we have 340 million people. So there is that too. You're right. You're right. There's a lot. There's a lot. It's just weird to me that we just can't seem to get the fucking grip on this goddamn virus, dude. Like,
it's spectacular.
I pray for a day when it's over, man, and then we can like have a real like in-person interview and talk and shit, and not have to do these goddamn Skype or Zooms all the time. I mean, how annoying is Zoom calls all the time, dude? Like, I want to talk to people, like real people. It's just getting old.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get that studio going, but yeah. I mean, the Zoom calls. What do you do? I mean, I get COVID tested every single day.
Yeah, every day before a show, I get COVID tested.
Well, five times a week. 5 times a week. Not every day. 5 times a week.
I only get like 2 or 3 times a week, but my nose is starting to get raw, dude. My nose hurts. Like when I blow my nose, it's like sore up here. It's like sore. And I don't want to complain about the COVID test. Don't tweet at me. Please leave me alone. I'm not complaining about getting the test. I'm happy that I have the test available to me. I am very happy that I am able to be tested as often as I am. Do not get that wrong. I'm just saying it hurts to blow my nose. That's all I'm saying.
How stressful is it when you get the swab and you got the post-nasal drip for like 20 minutes and you're like, is this the one?
I'm sick.
Is this the one? Oh my gosh. Oh no.
I'm so fucked.
You're like sniffling and your eyes are watering and you're like, oh no.
At you and you like try not to sneeze or cough because everyone's like, it's like what Theo Vaughn said, coughing's the new N-word.
Oh man, then you just get publicly stoned to death. People just start picking up rocks.
This guy
just
in the
start
back
hurling
of my
them.
Uber wanted to cough so goddamn bad the other day, and he was just sitting there like doing that, like trying to clear his throat without coughing.
Looks like he's like a ribbiting frog.
It was like Trump when he came back from the hospital and he was trying so hard not to cough. And everyone's like, you want to cough. Just cough, dude. We see it. Like, that was what it was like. And I was like, dude, do you have COVID? And he was like, no. I'm like, you can cough. Like, you have a mask on. You're fine. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
All right. So, last piece of news right here.
What is it?
Mark Cuban cancels the national anthem.
You went and brought up the fucking national anthem topic, didn't you?
There it is.
Fucking brought it up. It's going to be Kaepernick 2.0 down in fucking Texas with the fucking Mavs. Oh my God.
What drives me up the wall is when people pretend they're like, what are we going to do?
Yeah. Well,
what are we going to do? Like, I don't know. Probably have the DJ spin a few tracks?
Well, like, I need people to understand, and I'm not taking a side on this, before anyone accuses me of whatever. I don't watch the game in the beginning anyway. I usually tune into a game about 15 minutes after kickoff, after whatever, because I'm late to everything in my life. It's who I am as a person, and I'm not planning on changing that anytime soon. So.
I have no opinion because I'm frequently late.
Like, I don't ever see the national anthem. I'm always late to the game. I don't make it into the game on time. Like, every Sioux game I go to, if my friends aren't there to make me in line on time, I'm walking into the game at 7:45 and the puck drop was at 7.
It's just the way things go. It's my life. I had a morning interview show one time, and I had to I walked in like an hour and 15 minutes late to this interview, and they were like, "Oh, we thought you weren't coming." I was like, "No, man, I had to meet my friends for breakfast this morning." Like, I just made plans to go meet. Like, I just don't have that. Like, you're not going to have enough time to make that happen, Jake. That is not in my head anywhere. So it's weird. That's why I need a publicist that doesn't, take over, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? The Adam Silver already said that they're going to play it, that they don't have a choice. So,
Oh, really? He came out?
yeah, Adam Silver already said, no. If you're going to play in the NBA, you're going to fucking play it.
Oh, wow. Big league. Big league by the league.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, my thing was, for me, it's like, how many people have been sitting in line getting nachos during this time? Like, oh, no, the best one was the Dallas Cowboys owner who didn't take his hat off, and he demands that every single person, player, family member, fan stands for the national anthem, and his son is on audio saying, "Hey, Dad, take that hat off," and he goes, "No."
No. Yeah, he literally says no.
No.
Yep, I know. Yep, rules for thee, but not for me. These motherfuckers. See, here's what needs to happen, and this is part of my comedy sketch. Until people start climbing over those brick walls of these nice mansions and start slitting throats and shit, nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna change until you wake up in Fox News and they're like, 7 politicians are dead, and you read the list and it's just all the shitty ones that you never want to hear from ever again. And you're like, oh, someone's cleaning it up. No, put those back on. The FBI's not listening yet. This is still recording.
What was that? Huh?
This is a joke I make on stage. It's okay. I had one cop legitimately talk to me after the show, and he's like, "Hey, you're not serious, right?" And I was like, "Dude, look at me. Who am I?" I just knocked over my bong. Whoops. Oh my god. I'm like, look at me. Who am I fighting? Look at me. Who am I fighting? No one. No one's fighting me. Okay. I make podcasts and tell jokes, and then I run to my car so no one fights me after the show. I am all talk. Okay. Learn this right.
That's the podcast right there.
I'm not
All
gonna
talk.
lie to you.
We're changing the name. Changing the name of the podcast.
Let's meet up at the bar tonight. Let's fucking meet up. And then I just don't go to the bar. They all go, "Hey, we're gonna fight this kid." I'm just at home eating Cheetos. Oh, those guys are probably looking for me right now.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, sorry. What a good way to wrap this
Jake.
up. Anything else you want to discuss before we get kicked off the air?
What's this we? I was just dragged by my heels
Just
into this.
half the screen goes away. Just my half is gone. The other half is still up.
Yeah, it's just me, and I have to host the Zoom call somehow.
Oh, goddamn. Alright. Thanks for listening, everyone. Anything you want to say, Paul?
No, hopefully we have some content for Friday. You want to do it?
Yeah, because my flight's canceled, so it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all stuck in this winter storm right now.
Yeah. Well, all right, so Texas, I'm not coming. Nashville, I'm not coming. And Seattle, I'm not coming until probably, at this point, March, honestly, by the time I get it rescheduled. So, sorry, is what it is. Tell your weather to fuck off. It's been Better Life with Jake and Paul. Thanks for listening. See you later.